Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
One trash fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. That drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares, but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bois, King of the Hill podcast. I am Mike.
And the rumor is I am Rusty.
The rumor is
That's
correct.
the rumor.
It is Friday. It's a That Ain't Right Friday.
It ain't right, Mike. And it is Friday.
And this was Mason's idea.
Yeah, Mason.
Great topic. He said, would you want to live in Arlen?
Yeah, well, like, why would you want to live in Arlen or why would you not want
Yeah.
to live in Arlen?
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just hash that out and run through it. But
What's your answer to this?
my answer.
Let's say one thing first. Mason will be on this episode.
Yes, he will.
So anybody who's sending me angry emails about
Yeah,
Mason not being
I've
involved,
gotten a couple. I guess you could call them angry. I guess
Yeah.
they were like, "Well, Mason was
Very
there, and now he's
inquisitive.
not. Did you fire?
Yeah.
Did
God,
Mason
no.
get fired?
No, not at
That
all.
that was one of the questions. Was did Mason get fired? Did Mason quit? Like, where's Mason? What happened to Mason? So,
does a great job producing us, and sometimes he just doesn't want to be on.
he
mic,
just
and
ain't,
that's
he just
great.
don't want to be on mic, and that's all
whichever.
good. He's got a lot. He is a lot of behind the
He
scenes
does.
stuff
He
going
does a
on.
lot
So
of things.
sometimes while we're recording, he just doesn't have the bandwidth to be able to speak because he's
That's
doing
true.
all kinds of other stuff and everything. So
He is doing a lot of stuff.
Mason, say hi to everybody. They've missed you.
Yeah, I don't really feel like that.
Eh.
No, I'm just kidding. Hi, everybody.
Hello there, Mason.
There we go.
Yeah. So I guess we'll start with you. Would you want to live in Arlen, and why, or why not?
There's a few things that make me say yes, and there's a few things that I would be hesitant about. Not a big fan of the school system.
No, it's bad.
And generally, when you move to an area with kids, one of the first things that you look at is community,
Sure.
community-based things, school, church, neighborhood,
Yep.
that kind of
Yep.
stuff. So, as far as community aspect of the neighborhood or the city of Arlen, it seems like a really close-knit town.
It does.
You got a flat tire on the side of the road. Hank
Oh,
passes by.
sure,
Boom.
sure.
Even Bill or Boomhauer passed by. I feel like they're the kind of guy that just I'm talking about dang old
Well,
flat
I
tire.
think that's a Texan thing. I think
Yeah.
we hold doors, we change tires, we watch out for the others.
So it does
a lot of the
remind
time.
me of
if we're not shooting each other, we
yeah,
watch
for
out
sure.
for each other.
Yeah, at high noon and stuff in the middle
exactly.
of the street.
Yeah.
But it it is like a homey.
Does
like,
your horse need a shoe change?
Yeah, does your horse?
Yeah.
Can I warm my hands up by your fire for a minute? I got a funny story. There was we were chilling in Golson as a teenager, and we were at a friend of
Chilling in
mine's.
Golson.
We're at a friend of mine's house, and we're teenagers. We're all in
Yep.
the front yard, just smoking weed, listening to music, whatever. Well, this guy trots up on a horse. You're talking about 3 a.m. Trots
Wow.
up on a horse, and we have a little fire going, and
Sure.
he just comes up into the yard and just looks
Did you
at us
find
all.
out where he came from?
Well, we don't know.
The Old
Don't know
West?
where he came from. The Old West, I guess.
There's
That's
a
what it
portal.
felt like. It felt like a Wishbone
portal.
TV. It felt like an episode of Wishbone.
Wishbone. That dumbass dog.
Yeah, that's what it felt like, an episode of Wishbone, like we're just being transported back in time.
Wishbone. That's
But this
crazy.
guy trots up on the horse
What
and
a
he looks
crazy
at us.
reference. Wishbone.
Wishbone.
My God.
What was it? They all had the
I
episodes.
get it. I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying. It just caught me by surprise. I've never had a Wishbone reference.
That was a good reference, yeah. But he just looks at us and he didn't say anything. Well, he talked to us afterwards, but the first thing he said to us to greet us was, "Do you mind if I warm my?" And it sounded almost like John
Do
Wayne.
you mind if I
warm my
hands
hands up by your fire, and it was
Wow.
kind of funny. But
That's
yeah, you know, so
crazy.
small town community. Arlen would be an okay place to live. I think. I don't think it
Yeah.
would be a negative place to live. I don't like all the catty, gossipy,
Right.
like aspects of
Well,
small
Peggy.
towns.
You don't like Peggy. That's pretty
Well,
much it.
I don't like the three women at the coffee shop
Yeah.
that are just
Oh, that's
listening
true.
to all the
That's
old
true.
men
There is a
talk.
lot
and
of
they're just
that.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, you know, back and forth gossip. The telephone game where
Yeah.
you know so and so had
Says
a
something and it
baby
gets
with
bigger
so
and
and so, and
bigger
it
or
comes
whatever.
around that you know
Yeah.
so and so's pregnant with 4 kids by 2 men.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a rough one.
all kinds of crazy stuff like that. Other than that, no, I think Arlen would be a phenomenal place to raise your family.
What about you, Mason? You want to live in Arlen?
I don't have kids. Never really ever plan on them.
Yeah.
No.
You can't plan on kids. They just happen.
I mean, it'd be. I mean,
didn't plan.
I've
them.
been thinking about
That's
this.
for sure.
Out of all the fictional animated towns,
Yeah.
like if I had to choose between living in here or South Park, Arlen easily. If I had to pick between Arlen or Quahog, Arlen
That's
easily.
super fair.
Where like people are dying like every 5 freaking minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Or hell, even like better. This is better than Stool Bends. Better than
Stool bends.
Langley.
Yeah.
But I feel like
It's even better than Metropolis.
Well, I mean, yeah, actually, yeah. I mean,
Because, I mean, there's all the evil guys.
because maybe Bet or Gotham, maybe
Yeah.
maybe you're the victim that Superman or Batman saves, or maybe you're the guy they kill first so they introduce the threat.
Yeah, to make a point. Yeah.
It's like how all those episodes of the show started. Where
Can you
a guy does-
even imagine like running away from somebody like the Penguin or the Joker?
Yeah.
I mean, if
Well,
that
the
were
Penguin wouldn't chase you; he'd have his
oh
goons
sure,
mess you up.
sure. But I'm saying somebody like that shows up in front of you, you got to think, geez,
Well,
did
I'm
I do
dying.
acid? Am I dying immediately? What is happening here?
The biggest plot hole in all of comics is that people even still live in that damn city.
That's absolutely true. Yeah, it should be a ghost town at this point. Yeah, yeah. So you
But,
would want to live there, huh?
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, you
if
wouldn't?
I had to choose an animated city to live in,
Yeah.
it'd be that one. But it'd just be too small for me. I'd be
Yeah.
bored.
Yeah.
No comic book shops.
Well, that's true. You don't ever see it. That's the one thing that Springfield's got over it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Even though I hate comic book guy.
Best episode ever. I think Arlen feels like Robinson or Lorena.
Yeah, that's what it
or
reminds
any
me
of
of.
those small
like
little
Wood.
towns,
Like I would
right?
even go as far as to say it reminds me more of Woodway because it's
I think Hewitt, not Woodway.
was Woodway
So,
too expensive?
Well, Woodway's
Woodway's
a
like
little
the-
more snotty.
oh, is
Yeah.
it okay? So Woodway's
Yeah.
like McManorberry then.
It
But-
is.
That would be like
Arlen does have
McManorberry.
its snotty parts though.
Well, that's true.
It
too.
does. Well, everywhere has their snotty parts. I could take you to parts of Waco where there's like $5 million homes.
Between Hewitt and Woodway, those are little outskirts of Waco, by the way,
Yeah.
where we're at. I compare them, or I think they're comparable to Parks and Rec Town and their neighbor. What was the Parks and Rec Town, Mason?
Pawnee.
Pawnee. Yeah,
I think
Pawnee.
of Hewitt as Pawnee, and I think of Woodway as whatever that other thing is with the snotty people.
Oh, McManorberry.
No. In Parks and Rec.
Oh, in Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about the town, the adjacent town
yeah,
to Pawnee?
yeah, where
I
they
can't
build
remember
a
what it's called.
fence
Yeah,
and throw
yeah,
their
yeah,
garbage
yeah.
over it at them and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I feel like
I gotta
that's-
rewatch that. I gotta do a rewatch on The Office and that. I haven't done one in quite some time.
I
It's-
love Parks and Rec.
it's about
It was a
time
great
for it.
show.
Oh yeah. Speaking of The Office,
It becomes a cartoon.
they're-
Is what it does.
they're supposed to
I
be
saw that.
catching a revival
Office
too.
reboot. Yeah. Which I mean, the actual people are involved.
Have you ever
So-
listened to their podcast? That the
Office Ladies?
The Office Ladies.
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a good one. I
Yeah,
really
yeah.
like that one.
I stopped listening to it I don't know why.
I
think it's
stopped
too
listening
long,
to it
honestly.
because it's too long, and all it is like a running commentary for the TV show. But I've watched.
I don't think you need to piss on those things though, because that's kind of what this show
It is.
is.
It is, but it's one of those shows that I've watched so much of that if I'm going to do running commentary or listen to running
That's
commentary, I'd rather be the
true.
one to do. Kind of like this show. I don't want to listen to anybody talk about King of the Hill, but I'll sit here and talk about King of the Hill for hours.
I will say that one of my
Contradictory
favorite,
as hell. I expect 10,000 of you guys to listen to me,
Damn
but
you.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to listen to y'all talk about it.
the one thing that I love about Peacock,
Yeah.
which is not a lot of things,
Not a
but
lot.
I do love the fact that they put on those extended episodes of The Office.
Yeah,
so
I like
they have
that
all
too.
the shit that was cut out,
all
and
the
that
cuts and
It's
stuff like that.
wonderful.
I kind of like that. It reminds me
Yeah.
of the old, the special
Wait, they
features
do-
on the DVDs.
Peacock does that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
The only thing worth getting Peacock for was
That's
WWE.
exactly. You got it. You got
Yeah,
it.
Peacock used to be only worth for
Well,
the
they
WWE.
do have a
but
couple
yeah.
of movies every once in a while, but that's about it.
I use it for the live programming for
Yeah.
sports. That's
I
all
just
use it
love
for.
watching peacocks walk around. So that's
I like peacocks. I think they're a very beautiful bird.
One
I-
thing I really regret from last year is
Yeah.
they had an offer where you can get a year
oh,
for
yeah.
$20.
Oh
I didn't do
man,
it.
I didn't
That's a
know
good
that.
deal.
I
I
would have
really
got that
regret
too.
not doing that.
I regret that too because even
My
if you don't use it a
coworker,
lot,
Scott, shout out Scott. He did it, and I was like, damn. I
Yeah.
yeah, because even if you
I could have
don't,
afforded it too.
It's
even
not
if
a
you
bad
don't
deal.
like use Peacock that much, if you have a spare 20 at that time frame, that would have been a
Yeah.
hell of a deal.
That's
you would
more
have got
content, more
$20
stuff
worth
to
of
watch. Yeah.
crap to watch.
Um,
It's just getting so like things to watch. It's just like I don't even know.
well, here's okay.
That's why I stopped watching TV.
Soapbox one more
'cause I
time.
don't know what the hell to watch.
Soapbox one more time. If somebody doesn't hurry up and come up with a damn GUI or an interface for all of the streaming channels, I'm gonna start canceling shit because
I mean, their work. I know a lot. I think Spectrum's starting a thing where like you can access them all.
but
from-
that's Spectrum
yeah.
and they're gross. I want somebody independent. Like, why didn't freaking Roku do this? I got Roku on all my damn TVs, but I got to go to each individual app. There should be some sort of front end on this thing. Anyway,
it's all copyright and legal.
yeah,
stuff.
I guess. But they're all merging
Yeah.
anyway. At some point, I guess it's going to be one channel.
I'm scared for when that happens.
Netflix, Disney.
I don't want content
Yeah,
monopolized.
It's all going to be owned by Apple.
Yeah,
at
it's
some point.
I don't know. There's a couple of things.
I mean,
right
Apple's
now.
about to buy
well,
Disney.
Well, Amazon right now is about to
Which
be
is
under
nuts.
the SEC, FC, or
Yeah.
whatever is
monopoly.
getting involved, and they're going to try to break Amazon
Yeah.
down.
But why
into
wouldn't they
a
do that
bunch
to
of different
Apple?
businesses.
Why wouldn't they do that to Microsoft?
Well, I feel like they don't do it to
Yeah.
Apple or Microsoft because look at. I mean, I know they monopolize certain aspects of technology and stuff like that, but,
but
if
there's
you really
no
look
Apple
at
delivery.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying.
true.
If you look at Amazon and look at how many things that they acquire, like there's a lot of acquisitions in businesses. Microsoft's done it with all kinds of technology. Apple's done it with all kinds of technology. Third-party people that come in
Yeah.
and design something that's better than theirs, and they buy it out from them and stuff like that. Well,
Third-party people.
yeah, third-party
Whoop, whoop.
people, and I don't know. I just think that
What the fuck that was.
yeah, I don't either. But whenever they're buying out and stuff like that, if you look at Amazon's acquisition list,
Yeah.
they've acquired delivery companies, book
But-
selling companies, food delivery
But
companies,
think about
all
this.
kinds of stuff.
If Apple is allowed to buy Disney, then you've got Apple, Disney, and Marvel
Oh,
under
yeah,
one roof.
That is, I don't think
Yeah,
Apple
plus
that's
should
Disney-
be allowed to
that's
buy
just
Disney.
content, though.
And
the
then-
reason Amazon is so superior is like, again, just because they do so much more than just merchandise.
Well,
Yeah, you're right.
They
you're
bought.
right,
They
you're right.
bought. What was it? MGM, right? And so
Yeah.
now Amazon owns MGM. All of these
Well,
things
that's
are going
just
to be in,
like kind of like Mason said though. Like what Apple and all them are doing is it's more about like monopolizing content. So I imagine that the laws and stuff are kind of like not caught up with
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sure.
monopolizing.
But think about
content, I
this.
guess.
At this point, the two biggest, and I don't really count Netflix anymore because they've been passed over by a couple of these things. But
yeah, they're the innovators.
think
but
of
they're
the
getting passed
two
by.
companies that provide most of the streaming. One started as a
Oh,
book delivery
what is
service, and the other started as a hardware company.
A hardware company. Yeah.
So Apple and Amazon, it is so weird to me that those two companies would end up ruling this stuff.
would be
you
where
know?
they're at. Yeah.
But they got all the money.
They got the money.
So would I want to live in
Yeah,
Arlen?
would you want to live in Arlen, Mike?
to?
You live in Arlen right now, don't you?
I do kind of live in Arlen. Yeah.
Is there even a bookstore in Arlen?
Or
Or I think there's one.
Yeah. I
There's
think
like
it's
one.
yeah.
Small little one.
Well, and the weird thing about like getting into these later episodes, you start to kind of flesh out Arlen, right? I mean,
Well, you had to start making up stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So like that's Amore, the thing we just covered on Monday.
That's some
Nobody had ever seen that. Don't know who the hell the guy is that locked himself in the freezer and all that stuff. I mean, it's
It was
just,
Stephen Root. by the way.
Right,
That was
right,
the voice
right.
actor.
But I'm just saying
yeah.
it's like it starts to flesh out this universe, you know. And so that was my point with The Office. If they do this reboot, and that's fine, it's not a reboot, it's a continuation. So they're building a universe like everybody else, you know. So this would be a different place, probably owned by Sabre at some point or something, you know. But it can't be a paper company. I mean, it just can't be. That's not even a thing anymore. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe it could be they all got.
I don't know.
What would they get bought out by? Maybe they work for Amazon now.
They could work for Amazon now. Yeah. I mean, the last we saw, they were working for Suck It. So, yeah, that'd be a weird transition. As far as Arlen goes, yeah, I think I probably would want to live there. I think that it's fairly peaceful and stuff like that. The only thing is that there is some weird stuff that happens there. And so that would be the thing that would kind of throw me off. But if I were included in it, I wouldn't care, you know, just like Bill and Boomhauer and Dale.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Before we close out.
Yeah.
Or we all answered. You guys said you would want to live there, and I wouldn't.
I think so.
Can I say one thing? Since we're talking about that Office revival, I'm getting a little annoyed of all these continuations. I mean, I like them in concept. I like it if your show ended on a bad last season, and you want to try to do at least one season to like make up for that. But I mean, remember when Dexter came back like 2 years ago with that one season? But that was, from what I heard, wasn't that supposed to be more than just one thing?
It was supposed to be more than one thing,
but it only got one thing.
I don't think anybody gave a crap.
Yeah. And then
because I liked Dexter, but I didn't finish it. And
I know a lot of people don't like that ending.
Yeah, well, I didn't finish
ending,
it to get the ending, and then also I didn't care. You know, I mean, it's far too late. It's just like the Frasier thing. Frasier just started. It has 0 people in it but Frasier. That's the only one.
Well, technically Freddie, but I think it's a different actor.
Well, he's moved to a different city and all this stuff. It's just, it's not even it's not the right thing.
I kind of like that one,
grab.
but that one is.
Did you watch it?
I watched the first episode.
Did you really?
Yeah. It's got a decent concept.
They said it's getting better as it goes.
Yeah, it's got. I mean, there's a lot of potential as long as it's funny.
Yeah,
that's the important thing.
No,
it's funny
true.
and you focus on the father-son dynamic.
I guess it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's a freaking
like it doesn't bother me with
comedy.
sitcoms too much.
Yeah.
Like with original 3-camera sitcoms, but these like The Office doesn't need a revival. I mean, hell, is Steve Carell even going to be involved?
Yes.
No, he won't.
They said he was involved. They
There's
said he was
no
supposed
way.
to be involved.
There's
They said
Is
the
it
reason
more
why.
than just one episode, though?
From what I was
exactly.
reading about it, the reason why he's on board with being involved in the revival because it would be like Michael Scott returns to the paper
Well, it's
company
Mike
kind of thing.
Shore too, who's talking about it. So
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's
a-
anybody's guess at this point because I mean, what is Steve Carell doing right now?
being a well-paid actor.
Yeah, but is he in anything? Well, we got to think about how
He's just in movies.
Well,
at
the
this
money
point.
changes
Well,
too.
he was just on the morning show.
Yeah, he was.
That thing on Apple.
But was he only in the first 2
Yeah,
seasons?
he was only in the first little bit.
But you got to think though is that the money changes now. The amount of money these actors can get paid to do a revival
absolutely.
changes. So
Absolutely.
I don't know. I feel like if the money's right and the chemistry's there, because I don't think the chemistry just disappears.
It doesn't. But
Yeah.
I just
As a
The
fan of
Office
The
ended
Office,
so good.
Yeah,
I
it
just
did.
don't think it. I just don't think it
Well,
needs it.
it's tough.
For me, The Office ended one season too late.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that final episode.
Will
the
Ferrell and
final
Oh, it was
that
great.
was
Yeah,
episode-
it was great.
shit.
It was great.
That Will Ferrell stuff to me was unnecessary as shit.
I don't know.
I
man.
liked
kinda
it.
Enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it and I liked it,
I think
but
I'm one of
after
the
watching it for
He
so
loved
long,
the Southwest.
yeah, after watching it for so long, and then they add in Robert California and him. Like Robert California was great. I loved Robert
You're
California.
never going to talk me off Robert
No. I
California.
love
That is
Robert
that is
California.
fantastic.
Robert
But-
California was James Spader, right?
But
Yes,
Jay
yes.
Spader.
Yeah.
But adding in Will Ferrell and him was too much for me.
I love the fact that, well, I do enjoy the one episode where they're interviewing all the people to become the new Michael Scott.
Yeah.
And you get Jim Carrey roll through there. You get
Yeah,
Ray
yeah, yeah.
Romano.
I love
you
that.
get-
Yeah.
Oh, Warren Buffett
Warren
is one of the
Buffett,
guys
yeah, that's
that shows up.
Insane who
It's
they
just so
got to come
weird.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great though. Yeah, there was.
Wait, remember the episode of Parks and Rec where Joe Biden
Yes.
is a cameo?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember
absolutely,
that.
absolutely. And she just like wet her pants over it. Yeah. To your point, Mason, there was an article in my feed this morning, which is all provided to me by Google, which is the one company we didn't mention when we were talking about monopolies. that talked about how all these reboots are happening and they're all getting canceled. And
Yeah,
so
yeah, they're all getting
they just
canceled.
don't last. You know?
They don't last. There's no
You've
longevity in them.
squeezed all the juice out of that fruit.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that
No pun intended.
with some of these revivals like King of the Hill and stuff like that, they
Yeah.
do just I want them to, if they're gonna do it, please give us more than just one season.
I just want King of the Hill to do 2-3 seasons and be done. You know,
I think
just,
3
just
would be
put a
good.
cap
2
on
would
it.
be good.
Yeah.
Well, you know, like you said though, like Mason said, The Office, Parks and Rec, they all got a proper ending.
Yeah.
They all got
That's true.
they all got a fair shot at an ending.
More than enough seasons.
Yeah, more than enough seasons, fair shot at an ending. It never really got to the point where the show was ever bad. You know, they
Just
all
not as
stand
good.
up, just not as good. It never got to where it was unwatchable.
Yeah.
Some shows,
That's
whenever you
true.
lose a character like 2.5 Men, and when Ashton Kutcher started, I couldn't watch it after that. And that was a sitcom I liked. I enjoyed it. I thought it was
Yeah.
really funny.
Yeah.
And
And that went
as
for
soon
like
as Charlie
4
Sheen
more
left, I
seasons
couldn't
after
watch
that,
it.
right?
Oh, 4 more? I think they went like 6 more seasons.
A long time after.
They went
Yeah,
for
it's
they
true.
went for almost a decade with Ashton Kutcher, I believe, in that role. And I didn't really, you know, I just didn't think that it was funny anymore without Charlie Sheen. But
Well, it's that jump
That was
the
just an
shark
example.
moment, right?
yeah,
Yeah. You know where that comes from, right? Jump the
no, I
shark.
don't know where that
Happy
comes from.
Days.
Comes from Happy Days.
Oh, Happy
yeah,
Days.
so they took a trip to California, and Fonzie literally jumped a shark in the middle of the ocean.
Oh, okay.
That's where it comes from. Yeah,
No, I didn't know that.
because they say after that moment, it was just all over. you
Yeah.
know? And it's usually like when you add a kid to the show or a character leaves or something like that. That's why it worries me a little bit about the King of the Hill thing. I mean, look at all the people that just will not be involved.
Yeah, well, people who can't be involved because they're no longer
Right,
with us, rest in
right.
peace. But it's I
Dale's
don't know.
a pretty big kicker. I mean,
well,
I
from what
think
I
you could have
understand,
gotten away with Tom Petty and
Yeah.
Brittany Murphy being gone.
from what
Dale's
I've
a big
gathered
deal.
from undisclosed sources and from what I've gathered from news articles and stuff like that, the majority of the original cast
Yeah.
living will be a part of it, obviously. And there's going to be a lot of the writers from earlier on to the
Mhm.
middle part.
Yeah.
And then
Because the strike's over, because I'm sure they finished the scripts.
yeah,
I'm
the
guessing.
strike's over for
Yeah.
sure, but I'm sure right now they're probably doing post on a lot of stuff. They're probably wrapping up, you know, however many voice acting.
Well, they can't do the voice. Remember, the SAG is still on strike, so they ain't voice acting anyway. Just they're
Oh
probably
yeah,
still writing.
is SAG still out? SAG still
SAG's
out?
still
I
on
thought they
strike,
had
yeah.
wrapped up.
Only
I thought they had
WGA.
wrapped up. Also, it's only the writers that have
Yeah.
wrapped up.
Yeah.
Well, either way, you know, I hope that they're able to move forward and get it kind of a hard date for us. That way we could start planning. Would that be a 3rd episode a week?
Yeah, we're not doing that.
No, we'll have to
Yeah.
add that in.
I'm
We'll have to
already-
do
I'm
something.
already a broken
yeah,
man.
I'm already a broken man.
All right. Well, guys, thank you again for joining us on That Ain't Right
Yeah,
Friday.
We appreciate
really
it, guys.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much.
There is one thing I want to cover at some point, and it has nothing to do with King of the Hill, but on a Friday, I read an article this morning about 5 foods that aren't really foods. I just think it's stupid, but I would love to talk about it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do that for Friday next week.
And
Mate.
at some point, I'm finally gonna watch Idiocracy, and we can talk about.
Oh,
it.
yeah. I
Yeah,
would
you got to
love
watch
that.
it. Yeah, I'd love to talk
That's
Idiocracy.
a-
That's a great movie. A matter of fact, Mason, you put that on your watch list and we'll get that knocked out, man. That's a great movie, dude. It's funny as hell. And the thing
That's the
is
thing that worries me. Everyone says it's funny as hell. and
when I
just-
watched it
It
20
is.
years
It
ago,
actually
it wasn't as funny.
Yeah,
like
that's
literally
true.
was not nearly as funny 20 years
so
ago
much
as it is
stuff
today.
has happened though since
Because of all of the pop culture
Yeah.
stuff that's happened and all of the
Yeah.
politics and all of
All the
the climate of the world, if
all
you will.
the shit that came true.
Yeah, all the
Yeah.
shit that came true. Because
Ow,
20
my
years ago,
balls.
that movie was just like it was a joke, but
It was almost a throwaway.
a-
It's crazy when you watch it though and see all the people that are in it.
well, you got to think what's her name was in it. It was like one of her first movie roles. Saturday Night Live gal. What's
Yeah,
her name?
yeah.
She's the daughter of a famous
one that-
singer. Or
The one that
something.
always did
Maya Rudolph.
Yeah, Maya Rudolph. The
She
one that always
is
did
phenomenally
Whitney Houston
funny in
and
that
Oprah
movie.
and all that stuff.
Yeah, she's great in that
super
movie.
funny. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for joining us. We will see you again on Monday for season 4, episode 21. No, 22. 22. Yeah. All right. Where can they find us real quick?
You can find us at
I think I ended
BWAAKOTH.com.
prematurely.
Yeah, we might have.
Well,
But yeah, BWAAA.
It's not the first time in my life.
No, me either. BWAAKOTH.com, or you can go over to roguemedianetwork.com/BWAAKOTH.
You
You
got
can also
it.
find us on all social media at BWAAKOTH.
Yep. And thanks again for joining us, guys. We'll see you soon.
Ooh, Imatanye.
We Matanya, indeed. This has been a Rogue Media Network